move on to the next step of the quadruped. Quadra being four-legged versus bipedal, biped. There's several different ways we can do it, namely in the 3 dimensions. So today we're going to take it from the forward and back dimension to the lateral dimension, and I'm going to show you a few different options. Start off on the hands and knees. Try and bring your shoulders down away from your ears, slide your head back. What I taught you last time was straightforward. Arm goes forward, fingers are spread, leg goes back. So I'll do just a few of those so you can see what that looks like. Now when I'm doing this, I'm looking down at the ground with my head slid back to the sky. Okay, now the sagittal plane, or the frontal plane. Now the lateral plane, which we call the frontal plane, looks like this. I'm going to go wide. Now pay attention to my foot. My foot is facing down, my knee is facing down. What you see people do normally is they put the foot turning out like that. Try not to do that. Drive out, but drive your foot straight down. What that's going to do is that's going to continue the emphasis on that side glute. And also it's going to counteract your probably already proneness to being externally rotated. My hand and leg are going to the same height. Let's go 3 more. My foot is facing down the whole time. You're going to feel a little bit more of that lateral hip. Try not to turn your hip up when you do it. Don't turn the hip up. Keep the hips level. If I were to put a level on your hips, they would stay nice and level. Now we're going to flesh it out. Hands and knees, round the back, tuck the hips. Your knees are about slightly wider than your hip sockets, but your feet are slightly wider than that. 2 more. Tuck those hips around that back. That's a good back decompression. Now I'm going to go diagonally. And that's going to get the flank of my body. From the tricep to the shoulder to the rib cage to the lower back. Other diagonal, I do it symmetrically, about 3 apiece. Now I'm going to show you a different option for the lateral plane quadruped. I'm going to come up, go out, back to the center, and down. My knee and my foot is still facing down. This takes a lot of coordination not to turn that foot out. Now also try to resist not throwing your leg and your arm out. Don't throw those limbs. Act with control and precision. Act as if you're a machine or a robot and you're doing it very robotically with control. That's going to make your neural network more robust. I'll do 1 more on the other side and then we'll flesh it out together. Okay, remember my knees are in line with the hip sockets, my feet are slightly wider. See how they're slightly wider? I'm going to round the back extremely, round the back and then draw back. Now if I'm doing this properly, I'm not going to be able to get my butt to my hips because I'm rounding so much. But the delicious decompression of your lower back is just wonderful. This allows space between the vertebrae, allows all the resources to get into those spaces between the vertebrae. Diagonal, about 3 apiece. I'm still keeping my feet wide, but I'm not rounding my back when I go diagonally. Okay, I'm going to show you 1 more option with the lateral plane. It's going to look like this. I think this is the hardest one. We're going to come up. My knee is facing down. My foot is facing down. I'm going to go wide and back to center. And wide and back to center. Now, this one on first try may seem easier, but you might be throwing it. Don't throw it. I'm really feeling my oblique, which is the side of my core. I'm feeling my hip. I'm feeling my shoulder. I'll do 1 more. Try not to throw it. Move methodically. Come on down. Come on up. Lateral. Is your foot facing down? Is your shoulder down away from the ear? Where's your head? Your head should be slid back to the sky or the ceiling. Don't throw that leg out. Don't throw that arm out. 1 more time. If in doubt, move slower than you think. Round the back, tuck the hips. Feet are slightly wider than the knees. Another little option to get even more decompression in the back is when I go back, I'm driving my knees internally towards each other and through. So that's 3 things. Towards each other, forward, and turn them in. When I go back, And that gives you even more of a really wonderful decompression at the low spine, the lumbar spine. Diagonal. So this is called quadruped in the lateral plane. We also call that the frontal plane or the coronal plane. And then switch. This is so wonderful. The fleshing. Thank you for being with me here today. And I'll see you soon. Thank you. Thank you.